This was like, we on. Peace, family.
Peace, family. I'm just being honest. I like that. I'm just being honest, connecting with the black experience. It is the most disliked popular guy, Barry Axius, with the super popular, vindicated, cultivated.
I don't know, Barry.
Yeah, no. Queen Mama Ro, how are you, Queen?
Great.
Looking all as usual.
I try.
I can't wait till you get a repeat.
I have repeats
Nah,
all the
nigga, you ain't
time.
getting with not a repeat on this
I
show.
gotta get the whole, I've been trying.
No, you do your thing.
When it coming?
How's everything?
Everything's great. What about you? What's going on with you?
Man, lot.
I ain't really kept up with stuff. What's going on? You gotta tell me the latest lowdown because I don't
There's
really
too much
know.
to be the latest. I think that in times of tragedy, you really start understanding issues that, in times of tragedy and triumph, you really start understanding who is who and what people really rock with you and how much, should I say, how much relationship do you really have with folks, right? I think that it's easy, and some of the things that we always argue about is how when police play their role, right? When they're giving out the turkeys on Thanksgiving or, they're rolling out the bikes on Christmas, right? How they react in a moment of tragedy, right? In a moment where now there's no giving out turkeys, there's no giving out bikes, you got to deal with the person, right? You have to deal with that black kid that you was throwing the football with at 5 years old. Now he's 13, right? And now he's a little bit more aggressive. In moments, I think that we train for what we're supposed to do, but I found out just this week that those who are trained, those that feel they have the ability, ain't really who they say they are. And personally, there's a lot more people smiling in your face that really don't have that feeling for you. Like smiling in your face is one thing, but they really don't F with you in the background. You start really seeing the backstabbers. What is that song? They smiling in your face all the time. They want to take your place.
Go ahead, Barry.
You start. So it led me to believe, as I was thinking about what content, because we've had so much content in our shows, right? There's been so much stuff to talk about that was in real time, black shit, that we had to give a real perspective, because some of the things that were put out there were jaded. Josh Brown, the sister that got killed at the time, the whole Dallas situation, and just everything else coming in. I sat there as I was going through all of this, while a confidentiality was broken, where relationships, mistrust was all put in the fold, where folks who smile in your face but then play a role all came to a head during this time. I asked myself, do black people really like black people? Do black people really love black people?
Shit,
you know what I'm talking about? Because we spend so much time, right, challenging the opposition, challenging the oppressor. We spend a lot of time, breaking them down in their evils. But I don't think that we spend a lot of time on our own accountability, right? We're on our own actions. And I think that we've
you just use the word accountability.
Yeah, well, and our own actions, right? And it was crazy because something was going on that was so wrong from the other person, but it almost threw back on other folks like, well, we're the wrong ones. And it was like, huh? Wait. We always argue about, they always are frustrated off our reaction. When police brutality go down, they talk about our reaction more than the police brutality, right? But I found that with black people, we literally react and do the same exact thing. We will look at the reaction of people, not the action that created the reaction. Like, wait a minute, you do know that this came before that came, right? And to me, why we can't move, because I've always told you, we're subdivided, right? We have, black people have a bunch of subdivisions, right?
Yes, we do.
You got coons, got bourgeois, you got hood, you know what I'm saying? You just got the just getting by, you got Christians, you got, and the whole religion thing is Christian, Catholic, Buddhist, Baptist, so Muslim.
Niggerish.
You know what I'm saying? And then you got the whole, like, I don't give a FF Negroes. You get what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You got the transgender Negroes. You got the gay Negroes, because it's two different factions.
That's
Got
true.
all of these different subdivisions in black people. and every single subdivision in black people, none of us think on the same accord. It is not about our race. You had...
It's about the hyphenation of you.
You had the judge that did the hug, the controversial hug with No Amber, No Cry, right? You had her basically saying, I am Christian before I'm black. And her making that statement is kind of like, you're what? It brought me to what I was going through. And seemingly, it's just not one incident. It's been numerous incidents of folks. And in 2020, what I'm going to do, if I don't rock with you, we don't need a hug. We don't need to embrace. Let's keep it strictly business. You know what I'm talking about? We don't need to do all this fakery. You know what I mean? If I don't rock with you, if you can't come at me, if you have an issue with me without really dealing, you know what I'm talking about? And I think sometimes with folks, when I post stuff on Facebook and Instagram or wherever I post it at, folks are watching my page and thinking that it talks about them. And I tell folks, I generally just speak upon things. I generalize because at the end of the day, there's some fuck shit going on all throughout the black atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it really got me to a place where I have to change how I move even more, even though I've done it, because people, our own people who continue to talk about liberating, who continue to talk about empowerment, we are truly not dedicated to our own self as much as we want to say. So when Sacramento gets a new soccer team here, I don't celebrate that because I know I have nothing to do with that. But there'll be a few niggas that do. And then I look at those niggas, well, why are they celebrating more than I would celebrate? Because those niggas are either in, right? Or them niggas will sell out to get in, right? And contrary to certain things that people say, I think that you always have to sit down with your greatest enemy to strategize, especially when your greatest enemy is the one that has all the resources and the access to maneuver. But in those situations, I don't think niggas, when they get to these tables, do that. Or for some niggas who claim it, they make their own tables. And if they make their own tables, is it the table for all of us? So I generally look at the basic problem that we have is not necessarily about the oppressor. It's about how we're oppressing each other. And that leads me to believe that we, as black people, don't love unconditionally the way we claim. And we spend so much time talking about the hate that's outside instead of talking about the hate that's within.
So, Barry, question for you. What brought this on? Like, what made you, like, because that's wow, talking. See, I find having a conversation about black accountability or responsibility or black governance, black folks be like, we can't govern ourselves. We're ex-slaves. Like, immediately we go to, like, we need the white man because I have somebody to blame for the shit I'm not going to take accountability for. That's what I start hearing. Yeah. You know, what made you have that kind of epiphany?
Well, I mean, I think that I'm always continually watching, researching, developing. One of the things that I really came across, I was with my my best friend and my godson. He's turned 10. This past Sunday, right? And me and my daughter was out in the Bay Area, and we was chopping it up. Our family, we stayed out there. I said, I need to spend some daughter and father time. Family, spend time with your kids. I don't care when they get 23. If the relationship is solid, foundation is solid, spending time with your kid when they're grown, it's still going to be an exceptional thing.
That's real
I
talk.
love spending time with my daughter. Right. Like, that's one of the highlights of my day, especially when we on the same accord and she ain't pissed me off or I ain't pissed her off. You know what I'm talking about? A little expensive, but I love hanging out with my daughter, right? One of the highlights of my time. We were watching old school Def Jam. Martin Lawrence Def Jam. Okay. You didn't know Dave Chappelle, D.L. Hughley, Def Jam. You understand me? I'm like watching the vibe. I'm watching the culture. I'm like, yo, my daughter laughing, my best friend, his wife, we're all laughing. We're going back to what it is. And what, to me, spoke volumes to where we're at now and where we were before. In 92, what happened? 92, what happened? What was a prominent conversation from coast to coast in black America, or would I say nationally? What happened in 92?
A lot of stuff happened. That wasn't
A major event happened in 92.
Was it Rodney King?
Girl, you like, come
Okay.
on, girl. What
Well, on Jeopardy.
Hey. 92
Right, I
happened.
remember
Rodney King, right? And what preceded was, of course, the Rodney King riots in 93, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay. So, what I saw was us ready to do what we needed to do and not afraid to talk candidly about how effed up that was, how these people have continued to do this, how we need to keep on creating, we need to keep on building. You white folks who were in the arena are going to be as uncomfortable as a motherfucker in here full of black people, but we're going to be okay with you here, but we are controlling the narrative. I saw narrative control. I saw the lack thereof Negroes who wanted to assimilate in a system that had nothing to do with us. In 92. In 2019, what do I see? I don't see that kind of fire. I don't see that kind of braveheartness from men and women. I don't see us talking about the views of what happened to all the many black men, women, and kids that have died or have been brutalized by police. That same sense of urgency, that same sense of togetherness, that same sense of unity, right? That same sense of love. I don't see it in 2019. And if it is, please, correct me. I don't see that togetherness. I think this wave that we just had that was led by this hashtag Black Lives Matter really was a detriment, not because of the foundational things that they were exposing. It was a detriment and showed our inner weakness for each other. Because as we know here, why did Black Lives Matter Sacramento? Why did they disband?
They disbanded? I thought they were still out. Oh, anybody got killed by the police lady.
You crazy.
Okay.
You funny.
There was a shooting in Rosemont this weekend.
Listen, the reason why they disbanded...
No white cop. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to... sorry.
The reason,
I gotta remember
the
reason
things. Why they disbanded was ego, attention seeking, not understanding historical practices, believing they were bigger than the moment, and individuals wanted to be bigger than the movement. And then they wanted to isolate and make it seem like they were the only show in town, as well as kind of ostracize other individuals that were doing work. And one thing that they always promoted that we find out wasn't true, they promoted you have to be broke running in the movement, and if you don't sacrifice your whole life for this movement, you are not a part of this movement, which was far from the truth, because the heifers was getting money on the low. They didn't tell anybody, right? And at the end of the day, they attempted to assassinate folks' character that was lifting up the work in a different way that they were.
Now, Barry, y'all out there listen, we got some comments. I couldn't see the comments, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all.
Let's get it.
Dr. Stockdale says, why is it looked on in our community as hating on each other when we hold or try to hold each other accountable? Hey, you know, kryptonite for some black people is accountability and responsibility. Negroes, it's like kryptonite. We be like, oh, I can't govern myself. You know what I mean? So, Barry, that's really a good question, Barry. And let me tell you why that's a good question. Because I feel like, see, most of the times we don't study. So a lot of people study their history. They have volumes of playbooks. We do too. We just don't read them. Because we have to wait for other people to say it's important. Yeah. And then we make it important. But really, we've been at this place several times before in history. But we like to do things where, for instance, you talked about this so-called organization, because to me, your organization, when you've been around for about 15 years to me, 10 years to me, is something like I can see a long length of a portfolio of track records, like people's lives you have changed. But I think when you start chasing white cops, your career is going to be limited. Because 9 times out of 10, they don't kill us every weekend. We kill each other every weekend. So maybe if they have focused on that, but then that takes courage and guts. That take looking at your own goddamn kids and people you're around, Are they violent? Are you violent at home? Like, it's a different kind of accountability, Barry. Like, you just talked about fatherhood. You know, most people don't even understand fatherhood. We think fatherhood is about women cuddling or cradling men. That's not what the fuck fatherhood is about. I know men who are in there with their kids regardless if they're in a good relationship with the mom or not. You know, I used to think that was a rarity. But what I found was, no, it was a rarity for people who ain't never seen it before. But some people, that's all they know are black men who are involved with their children, whether if they're with the mother or not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think we don't have those conversations, Barry, because now we're talking about accountability.
Nah, we're not doing that.
You know, but if we want to blame somebody, well, you can get 1,000 niggas in the room to talk about complaining and putting the responsibility on somebody else. But if you talk about accountability, your room is going to be empty.
It usually is.
Your room is going to be empty.
Or you're going to have a big argument.
Well, some of us like to argue because that's all we got to give.
You know, I think that we do that. I think we do that often and less. We like to argue. And like I said, again, I'm not shooting no darts to folks and what they did. I'm just telling you a perspective of what I saw and what I know. That I saw this togetherness in 92, that we were still amped up. You had comedians, every single one, almost making sure they reflected on that moment of Rodney King, right? And I remember the shift happening after the riot, where the whole diameter of how we thought and we proceeded certain things switched up in like a heartbeat. And I do believe that this is a culture of when the nigga, and you know I don't say that word often, but when I do it, I say it for a real, true power hit. The nigga
got real.
Yeah, the nigga got money. Because now our ignorance was profitable in a different kind of way. Our ignorance was profitable in entertaining on both sides of the fence. So not only did it entertain us, but it also entertained the white folks, as it's always done. You get what I'm talking about? So the accountability now for us, because we didn't allow certain things that happened in the neighborhood, we just started accepting it because we started saying, well, should we get money? Because that really became the anarch of our own culture. It's this, right? Let's go ahead and pull one of these. Let's go ahead and pull this guy, because we like to talk about him so much. Put him out.
Yeah, you know.
What is that?
All right.
What is that and who is that?
Oh, that's you talking about
George Washington,
Uncle
right?
George? No, I'm just kidding. Chicken George?
That's George Washington, right? And for that slave owner, right? That rapist, right? That has his name on something we lust for.
Right on.
We will sell our soul, sell out our people, and kill for this. Something that tells us every day as we spend it, enslavement, genocide, right? Rape, murder. And here we are going crazy. It befounds me how dumb and ignorant some of these Negroes do when they're throwing up money. I mean, we all have had our moments. But when you start understanding the true definition of what this is,
of that federal note,
right? Understanding what it is, you have to ask yourself, I will use it in a content to get me where I need to be, but I will not be a slave to it. I will not be its a sheep, and this will not be my God. But as soon as you gave Negro back the same thing that you never allowed him to get in abundance, because he had to be a certain way, and you weren't doing it on your own no more, the Negroes went crazy. And I think that we have not been able to get ourselves out of that, because truly, when it comes down to it, black people have more issues than we would ever imagine within ourselves, to where when you hear again, an emerging big time deal of a major league soccer team. This is a major thing that's about to happen in Sacramento. It's been in the works for years. You got the Kings, you now got a major league soccer team. That's revenue. And are we going to be a part of that revenue stream? More than likely, we are not.
But we always got individuals.
I said 92 was collective still. 93 started becoming a lot more individualized. You understand what I'm saying? You come up, I come up. right? I mean, look at it. We were all walking around with traditional black college sweatshirts. These things were trademarks. The music was different. It related to us different. It had sound, but not only did it have sound, it was vibrant. And at the same time, when you look at it, a lot of the people still weren't in tune to what was going on because hip hop was still emerging as a new battle cry for the revolution. But they killed off the revolution, and they killed off the revolution because we allowed them to do the things that they always do, pit us against each other. And it is a format that has been used throughout the times. You know, Harriet Tubman movie coming out, and you're going to see that one Negro you can't stand who sold out Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, a couple of comments, Barry.
Let's do it.
Dr. Stockdale said it takes accountability, responsibility for your children, and as an educator, I don't see that often. You ain't got to tell me. I talked about that yesterday.
Listen, sis.
Okay.
Shouts out to my sis too, who's
right.
actually, you know, congratulations on her next move.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Let's try congratulations on our sister. Real, and she, Stockdale is one of those sisters that really moves in silent,
Yep.
but is so impactful
Yep.
with the connection she's made. Was integral in the.
And she put her ass online for.
No, she does know. But I'm saying in the sense of, you know, we get a little bit more fanfare for some of the things that she does,
right on.
and again was very integral in our summer's community message to the black community, making sure we got the revenue and the venue and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So just when, you know, she says that, I speak again to the fact that indeed we don't want to be accountable to all of these black boys and girls dying on the streets. It ain't none of the parents' fault. It ain't none of the parents' fault. None of these Negroes that are dying, none of the behavior, none of the attributes, it ain't nothing to do with the parents. It's the school, it's society as well. They play a part. But I just got done telling you, my 23-year-old daughter is still hanging out with her old ass daddy. And I ain't that old, but I'm just saying.
I get what you're saying.
And she's not looking at her weapons of mass destruction, the cell phone, like I gotta go. Her boo ain't like, man, when you gonna go drop off your daddy, dad? She ain't like, damn, dude, you get on my nerves. We having breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. We're talking about life. We're having a good time. We're talking about our business. She is involved in my life like I'm involved in her life, but we still have that positive separation.
Right on.
But my daughter has not been succumbed to what society is telling her is normal. Her normal is what her father is telling her, what her mother is telling her. And our normal is, nigga, you don't need to go get your apartment right now. You ain't even ready for that. You see these bags we carrying right now? If you go pay $1,200 or have a roommate pay $7 to $8 right now, nigga, you're drowning. I'm gonna tell you that right now, because you're gonna have a car note, you're gonna have SMUD, you're gonna have PG&E. Just sit back, finish all this schooling, and let me coach you through this shit. I can't sit there and tell you, but I can now coach you. So, if we believe the foundations that we build on sand compared to foundations that parents build on cement are true, and it's not defining on how our kids will then move on the streets, whether they're hanging out with certain people, whether they're doing the things themselves, we have to really honestly look at ourselves and say we need to stop blaming others for our own self-destructive behaviors.
Barry, but then that means you would have to be accountable, and you know that's kryptonite for black people. Look, okay, we got another comment here. Terry Grace, I seen your comment. I was getting to it. She says, talking about organizing, we have 1,000 black organizations. And by the way, Sacramento has more nonprofits than any other city in the United States except for Washington, D.C.
Are you serious?
Yeah. No, I'm dead serious. Nonprofit is a business. In California.
Well, I mean, it's always been,
Yeah, but it's more than like even D.C. and that you don't get no more than that. I mean, D.C. is first, then we're second. All of the same thing. I mean, doing all the same things, but not willing to work with each other. Just imagine pulling all those resources we would have if all the organizations pulled the money together, worked on as one. Dismantling ego and the crab in the barrel mentality to be the first black person to liberate black people. LOL. it has to be all of us.
No, and I think that what Queen Terry is saying is true. I mean, like, I've been here watching these movements, y'all, and I watch some of these little niggas that were under me trying to discredit me, and some of these people that came after me trying to discredit me, because I've already established myself. So now, what you want to go, instead of working with me and understand I'm very effective, I'm very thorough, you're trying, instead of focusing on the enemy, you're worried about, well, why is he on the camera? Well, why is he doing that? You're like, are y'all niggas serious right now? Y'all worried about the chess play that I'm playing when I'm trying to tell y'all this is how we're supposed to move. And I've stayed diligent. And after the smoke clears, who's still promoting, who's still preaching, who's still pushing up a black agenda? Barry motherfucking Axios. And that's not knocking others, but I know the climax of when these things happen. It is all in for the moment, but as soon as that moment dims, then the work becomes the work, and we got to work outside of the working systems. We got to create our own systems. And it doesn't usually happen like that because people don't really know how to do it, because at that particular time, relationships, Terry, have been burnt. And that's why we can't work fully together, because folks within the time where it was hot or it's hot, cats are trying to position themselves. Relationships get mirrored and smeared, and then after a while, when the smoke gets settled, when we now have to clearly think and talk for each other about stuff that's going on with each other, nobody wants to do that, because I remember what you did to me a few months ago. And you think I'm going to sit on the table with you, or you think when you make a call, I'm going to be, here I am. Hell nah. I don't trust you now, because I've watched you in the face of our greatest enemy perform the way you perform. And if black people are not ready to take those kind of courageous conversations, we're not ready for this revolution that we claim. First of all, you should never be telling a Negro to be a revolutionary, you got to be broke. That's some bullshit. The revolution has to be funded. And if I don't know any war that is won without any funds. Please show me.
I think also, too, I hear Sister Terry's question. I also think there's a lot of generalization in your question. Like, some of us just discovered we were black. Most of us was mixed. Most of us was high yellows, and you're fair skinned, so you're closer to white people. I mean, being black, it has just this multitude of diversity. I'm not trying to be funny. Or people who, everybody don't think black is the same damn thing.
And it's not.
And it's right. And so what I'm saying is, it's kind of like saying, why can't we all be friends, when some of us is like, I ain't never liked your ass, so I'm never going to be your friend. So it's like, ain't nothing worse than you trying to plan some revolution with half the motherfuckers who don't want to be free. You know, ain't nothing worse than trying to plan a rebellion where half the motherfuckers are fighting for the other team that you're supposed to be rebelling against. Ain't nothing worse than trying to plan some shit with people when some groups think they're better than other people because they're fair, which means that you have a fair shot with white people. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take my chances and just go on to white people, then try to use that, like my good friend Javon, to help her people. I ain't met a lot of women who look like Javon who thought like that. In action, not in talking. So I think it's kind of like, and I get the question, but I think it's such a broad question and it's so loaded because there's a lot of assumptions in there. If we was to break that down like in class, the first word I will highlight is all the so-called black organizations. That's why I love when people say so-called, because we calling them black, but they may not see themselves as black. We got the Negro Ladies. You know, we got the Urban League. Listen to all these titles. The Urban, it don't say the Black League, it says the Urban League. We got the NAACP, that's the National Organization for the Advancement of Colored People. I am not fucking colored, okay? I'm the original woman. So I created everybody in this motherfucker. So don't put me in your of color category. So you see what I'm saying? So, no, really, I think sometimes we make this generalization, what is black? We don't even fucking know what that really means. Some of us think it means just a color or a skin tone. We don't know that's the essence of all goddamn life. But how many of us know that? Some of us say, I ain't black, I'm African. I ain't black, I'm Creole. I ain't black, I'm Seminole Indian. I ain't black, I'm indigenous. Get the fuck out of here. Like, what are you? So, I don't mean to come off like that, but I feel like sometimes when we really try to put everybody in the black category, it's like trying to take off and you're overweight like a motherfucker. So you're not going to be able to sail out of here because your shit is overweight. When what we should do is what all the other fucking cultures do. They get with people who think like them and they keep it pushing. There's no way in hell you could build something trying to get everybody on the same accord. That's dead weight thinking. You know, when people was moving weight in this motherfucking country, they didn't go get all the homies in the hood. There was probably like 4 damn people who knew the whole plan, and their job was to control the rest of the goddamn group. You can't make little Ray Ray, who just want to kick it all day and play video games, be accountable for showing up on his post and making a transaction and taking the money to the goddamn bank. That is not his job. So I feel like if we're going to be revolutionary, let's do some fucking homework. Let's get with people. How many of y'all, and I'm talking about young and old. Because I also watch young people talk that shit, but they can't even do shit like live with their parents and stack their dollars and buy a motherfucking house when they leave their parents' house. But y'all the ones that got all the education. I don't know if education sometimes is like kryptonite to a nigga too, because it stops you from thinking, because you think you know every goddamn thing. You think because you can look the shit up on his cell phone that you know every goddamn thing. Well, look up some goddamn history and see what happened to motherfuckers back in the day.
Man, Rosewood.
Yeah. Look up some shit. Look up some shit immediately. Look at the shit that happened in the 90s. Let's just do that.
Yeah.
Let's just look at, you brought the 90s, a very pivotal time. You talked about education was important. You know, you talked about people still had grandmamas and shit who did shit because it was the right thing to do. We still had parents who would motherfucking have their kid do the right thing, even if it felt some kind of way about how they felt about their kid. They'd be like, no, I'm not raising no fucking bumps. I'm not protecting you because you killed somebody. That's not what the fuck you did.
It was a sense of order. And right now, we are out of order, right? And, you know, when you think about it, Dana said,
money's
root of all evil, but she also
money
said,
is not the problem. People are the root of all evil. There ain't no goddamn money, because money will be a piece of paper if we didn't make the shit valuable.
Well, I mean, think about it. Money eventually is going to be really us texting each other. It's going to be
so the phone's going to be evil?
I mean,
what about the person that's texting on the goddamn phone? When we going? That's what I'm talking about. It's always this
The
thing.
currency is going to be, you know, not the way it is at this particular time. But one of the things that Dana said was, I think we have so many orgs because folks want to realize their vision and don't think it's a bad thing. I do think it's a bad thing.
What? To realize your vision?
Yeah, like, no. All these organizations.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I think it makes for easy organizing if you know how to play chess and not checkers.
Because here's the thing about it. Every time we have all these organizations, right?
Go ahead.
No, we're definitely going to get Plachette, we're going to definitely get with you.
Yeah, so I was go ahead.
All the time we have all these different organizations. Some of these folks in these organizations, 1, are not visionary, 2, are not leaders, and 3, are not stable enough to be able to be leaders, right? And really, a lot of people want to be in this idea because of their vision, instead of going and saying, here's my vision to a different organization that's already in, knowing you don't have the capacity, knowing you don't have the time, knowing you don't have the actual passion, or really that's not your purpose. Do something. I mean, people I've talked to that created organizations, and they got an organization, and the organization does nothing, or it doesn't even do nothing. It has never even been organized. You can always be in a moment where I'm going to do this and then have it, and then that moment goes, then what happened to your organization? You're going back to work. What I feel is too many organizations is like, if you got everyone doing the same damn thing, well, who's the one?
Doing the same thing.
I believe a lot of us are, though.
I don't think we are.
Because there's somebody.
If we were all doing the same thing, the work would be done.
No. We are all doing the same thing in the sense of, listen, I feel like a lot of us are focusing, like, let's say, a majority of our organizations are focusing on young kids, right? Them little niggas ain't getting any better. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Some of them are.
No, not like. Okay, a small percentage, or we're gonna take those wins.
I don't think it's.
I'm not taking those wins. It is a small percentage.
I don't think it's.
Why? Because let me tell you why I say that, Queen. I say that's a small percentage.
You don't count the good
Queen,
kids.
let me tell you, I talk all the good kids.
No, you do not count. No, you do not count.
I say it's a small percentage.
I don't think
so. This is why, Queen. I say it's a small. We can disagree. I mean, it's good.
That's all good.
It's a small percentage. Because why the hell am I talking about 92 that you agreed on with me? Like, yes, we were this, we were that. Yeah. So if our kids are doing a lot better from then why are we talking about our dysfunctional kids? Why are we talking about the same problems?
Because some of them are dysfunctional.
But they've been dysfunctional before.
But Barry, all I'm saying is, and I hear you. I just don't agree with you because my lens is different.
No, I understand.
No, the lens is different. I know a lot of kids, and not just my nieces and nephews, who are out there doing it, but they don't get counted. When we're talking about fucked up kids, that's all we focus on is the fucked up kids. The kids who make it through the fucked up kids, We act like we don't even see them. They're invisible. I just talked about this at a meeting. We'll be up here like, we gotta stop the gang violence. What about the kids that ain't doing none of that shit? They can't get no fucking love. We don't even count those kids.
Where is the organizations that's focusing on just financial literacy?
They out there. Most of them is anonymous. They out there.
Not enough.
They out there.
Okay, where is the organization that's focusing on making sure our kids at 18 get housing? You know,
they're
I'm saying,
there.
they're not in
yes,
abundance.
They are.
Queen.
That's
Everyone,
because you don't know about
I know. It's not about
you do not. You cannot be all knowing because that's your circumference. Do you live inside of Land Park? Do you live inside of no, Barry? Because you cannot speak for people's realities that you don't live in. You don't live in certain black worlds. There are black people who are fucking making it. And what they do is, they like, we not gonna fuck with this nigga because he's too radical.
Yes.
And I'm gonna do my shit over here. No. And so we'll say that they're bad, but it's like they're keeping you out of this shit.
But they're not, Queen, but they're not.
That's not the focus.
They're not organizations. They are collective families.
They are organizations.
They are collective families that are doing that. What are they? Please tell me.
They are organizations.
Give me one right now.
Jack and Jill.
Nigga, that's not black.
That is black.
Jack
and Jill is black.
One organization.
No, you said
that's
name you
national.
One. You said name you one.
Come on,
abundance. You said name you one, but they do a lot of things.
Okay, and that's black
elites. They just had the motherfucker.
I seen that.
You know what? They just had their debutante ball. I didn't even know that shit was even going on. I didn't know that shit still went on.
And I got invited to that, and you know what they was doing? The beginning of that, the OG had broke it down to me. He said, it's all beautiful, I get it. He saw, but another sense of that being in our slave mind. They were doing a little slave dance, and you know the difference.
I agree. But my point is that some
man.
people have bought into that's their measure of their kids being successful. I'm not saying we gotta agree with their method, but I think sometimes our big issue is trying to make everybody be in the same pot. And some motherfuckers is like, I don't like your fucking pot. I don't want to be in your fucking pot. I created my pot over here. I think there's no other people get told you can't do that by their own people, but us. We the only people who say that. Nobody says that to Asian people. Nobody says that to Mexicans. Nobody says that. But black people always get this certain message like it only could be one of us. We only have one church.
No, one church, nigga. We got 1,000. Don't
say
one church.
Say that.
Baptist, Christian, Catholic, and that's our problem. Okay, thank you. I'm happy. Whoa, I got you, baby. Yes. Because the organization, thank you, I appreciate you, Queen. The one Jill and Bill, whatever they call it.
But nobody takes that message.
Queen, the one Jill and Bill. And 1,000 of churches. How many churches we got on Meadowview Strip? How many? About 20? Black churches?
I'm not debating.
I'm just saying that. Okay.
What I'm saying is they don't take your message because they'll build a church out of a fucking matchbox.
Listen.
Coming here on Sunday, you'll hear
100 churches.
Yes, yeah. You even hear the African churches.
And that becomes a problem. Because if we don't, church is a huge problem.
No, Barry, talking to Jesus now, you about to get cussed out.
Listen.
That's that. Watch it, sucker.
Organizations have become one of the greatest Achilles heels because if we don't have,
I think organizations ain't doing shit. It becoming
okay. Well, but if I'm just speaking on what Dana had said, and I believe it because I've seen too many people with great ideas, but have horrible work ethic. And I don't believe that everybody has to have an organization when why can't you just collaborate? Because people are very selfish because when they say vision, they just want to be held up and they want to be held up in esteem. Leaders, they want to be called up by the governor or the mayor to be that Negro that's holding up the achievement award and be called on. Because in the reality, if that was the case of doing work, I should be getting every single achievement award in Sacramento. But I'm too radical in my ideas. But let's get back onto the church. Another thing about organizing. Why the hell do we have all these churches?
Because black people worship differently at different times of the day, at different denominations. Some follow Paul, some follow the gospel of Paul, some is following Peter.
Let's go to
I agree. So let's go to this thing.
We're going to get back on the church.
She said the problem is that all the marches and talking about it. Let me make my thing bigger. I'm sorry, y'all wear glasses. It is not changing anything. There needs to be a black summit with all the organizations and truly come up with a solution that will work for all people. I agree with you, but please do your history. We've been having black conventions and organizations since the 60s.
We've had just one
They used
right
to have
now.
the National Black Convention.
Revolt.
Look that shit up.
Revolt TV.
And that's some new shit. That's
and
they ain't really dang. That's a whole other story. Get me started on that shit.
And Plachette, I believe.
But I feel what you're saying. But we all see. I don't mind doing something, but at least look at the history of us. We don't study what the fuck went wrong where people got splintered. We never want to look at what happened that people's like, I ain't fucking with Barry, I'm leaving. We can never have conflict resolution like they do with other fucking people with other people. We can never have a sit down without the cameras and be like, I got some work. We used to do. It's been time when motherfuckers will come to your door and be like, what the fuck going on? I heard boo boo boo. We don't do that. And see, that's about nation building. That's about being community. That's about family. Most of us, and sisterhood and brotherhood, most of us don't believe in none of those fucking concepts. So getting all of us together in the building, maybe we're gonna have some good ass food, some laughing and cracking and jokes, but we ain't probably gonna get no motherfucking work done because as soon as you talk about work, the shit gets scattered.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, but I feel what you're saying.
As soon as you start talking about work, as soon as you start talking
niggas
about
just go tone deaf. Then said, I think we have so many organizations because, you read that one. Possession, until we pull our funds together, nothing will change. When are we going to wake up? And again, I agree, but I think with that we is kind of broad span. Some people woke up and got the fuck out of here, and now you're only left with the we that you see.
But again,
but
it
some
goes back.
people already did that.
But
I'm
it
just
goes
saying.
back again, Queen. And I understand what your terminology, but it goes back again to the love. Right?
Dr. Stockton said, Raleigh said from the Boondocks, nigga, you're black.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
It goes back into the term of what love is.
Right.
Because I don't participate in fake love. I don't give a shit who it's from. And the reality is, I don't as well believe every brother is my brother and every sister is my sister.
Now, Barry,
okay?
you just said what I said, but
Okay.
you just breaking it down.
No, I know we have to, because I think in content that being cordial with folks don't mean I gotta rock with you like that. But if I'm out here really pushing the line, and you really know you're not pushing the line like I am, but you just may not like who I am, you can't knock what I'm doing, or I can't knock what you're doing if it's for the right cause. But the thing becomes with black people is, when do we truly become accountable for each other? Like, I put a post about Kevin Johnson. Niggas lost their mind, and they're like, "Oh, nigga, you're hating on his black business."
Messiahs.
Come on, man! Like the Messiah complex in our reality is where niggas can't talk about Jesus, Obama, can't talk about that. You can't talk about white Jesus, you know what I'm saying? But we can go on all day long about every other thing. And I don't believe that we have to have all these folks focusing on all things that nonprofit organizations have to do. I think that we need other work and other things happening, because in a true sense of governing bodies, as I talked about all the churches that we have, that now has become, in layman's term, not as relevant as they used to be. They still have a good.
And they become political, which is supposed to be separation of church and state.
Well, that's a whole different game. But it's still very relevantly culturally, because niggas is still drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, if I go to church, if I sin, go to church, pray, give tithes, I'm going to make it to heaven. Which is a whole total
which
contradiction.
Is a place your ass ain't never seen, but
and it's not a reality. But the same tone, a church will never die out. Why? It's not because of belief system, it's because of one. It's another B. It's because of what? A church will never die out because it's called a business. A nonprofit will never die out if you do what? Good business. So in the idea of how black people operate, too many of us operate on the emotional lens. Right now, you and I were disagreeing, we're going back and forth, but we're on the same accord.
Yeah, right on. You right.
Our emotions ain't like, I'm going to call somebody, did you see what she did to me online? I ain't F with her. I'm not on this emotional cord like that.
That's real talk, man.
You're my sister.
Right on.
I know you rock with me.
But that's family shit.
No, I'm saying? We
right
break
on.
bread together.
Right
like
on.
when I'm doing an organization, you make it plain.
Right on.
Okay, brother, here. When you do something, oh, sis, let me go ahead and get you something. All right, what you need. I'm going to do whatever I can, or send a resource to each other.
But that's nation building stuff.
But that is not what we do. People take everything so personal. Nigga, don't personalize your shit on a post I put. If the shoe fits, then you got to wear it. But don't come on me parading around being upset. Are you a good parent? Do you feel that you are part of the reason why our kids is dying? Right. Don't sit there and, you know what I'm saying? Are you not black enough? Are you not about us? If this is not what It's about
Hold on.
you that don't sit there and
But
react to it.
maybe they not about us, but they don't get to say that because maybe they lose their business. Look, Sister Plachette is also saying that she don't have much, but she's willing to do what she can to help who out there is willing to come together financial. I think a lot of people do. They do that every week at the goddamn African market. But I also know people who came together and bought housing together, housing up in Richmond, housing in Oakland. I know people with regular, everyday damn people who work, got together a group of people in a collective and they bought some houses. That's happening all over the place. You got to find your tribe.
Again, if you're still online, could you please put up, as Sister Plachette is wondering what you can do, if we could please put up the advertisement for Black Friday, November 29th, November 30th, and please push that up, Plachette, that's coming on. And that's one of the things, you know what I mean, that we can do. Those are one of the things that we have to empower ourselves. I'm tired of us talking. I want action. You know what?
Action.
It's like, here's the thing. I knew my father loved me, but I knew my father didn't like me. That nigga did not like me. I never ever make my daughter feel any emotion instead of he loves me and he likes me. My daughter knows that clearly. Because when you like a person, you want to be around that person. Talk to that person, build, give advice. You know, things might always be up and up, but that person is your, you know, hey, what up? What's up? When you just love a person, damn, something happened, you know what I'm saying? You're going to cry a river. I don't necessarily have to like your ass, you know what I'm talking about? But I'm going to feel something. And I think that what us is, we can say black love all day. But do we really like each other? Like, I like you. I wake up in the morning. I'm going to get to you. We're going to do this. You know what I'm saying? But if I didn't like you, it would be like, okay, so what am I getting out of this sister right here? Okay, she give me a little followers. Okay, give me a little, all right, cool. You know, and I think that's what we fall into. Because niggas ain't really walking around here spreading the like, spreading the love the way we should. And it becomes our detriment. Because we really honestly believe every Asian, every white person likes each other like that. But what they do is they love their culture. They love their level of dominance. They love their level of power. They love their level of privilege. And I don't think that we've defined or figured out where is that with us. We don't like each other. We barely show love to each other. And the love that we use ain't even action-packed. You nigga, you love me, but you shitting on me every day.
But that's when I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm going back to the point when I said to you, we don't understand basic concepts. A sisterhood, brotherhood, nationhood, you know, loving your culture. Do we agree on things culturally? Where do we meet together in our culture? We don't fucking do that, Barry, because black is so generic. You know, sometimes we think black is all the bad shit. We don't even see black. I love when people came up with black excellence. Thank God. Change the narrative on that
Unapologetic black excellence.
Yeah. But, you know, normally, Barry, most black people can't even agree with that. I always know you talked about the Asian community. I remember in Oakland, before they had their Chinatown or whatever towns they got, because now they got them broken down into their ethnic tribes and shit. Asian people to take the BART all the way over to Frisco just to shop what they own until they were able to acquire their own in downtown Oakland. Now, to me, that was powerful as shit because that was nationhood. Like, I got to shop with my own until I get my own. But that's because they believed in themselves enough to do that. We'll be like, I ain't buying shit from that nigga. Fuck that nigga.
No, not even deeper than that.
Oh,
we're going to throw our kids to the wolves. How many parents have sat there and pushed their kid by the time they were 16 out that house? Nigga, you got to go. You get what I'm talking about? Push their kid out to the wolves, fend for themselves, and then worried and wondering why the baby comes out pregnant or not checking in. The reason why my daughter couldn't be a freakazoid and a ratchet chick, you understand what I'm saying? Or a little beezy, is because I was in her ass. And I didn't have to beat my job. Because even think about it, problematic. I was talking to me and MJ was talking. We was talking about trauma that we've dealt with in the black community. Why some of our parents beat us like the slave masters used to beat their ancestors, their grandparents. Think about the trauma of what we had to go through, where for me, when I was getting beat religiously for some little shit, nigga, you didn't shut the door. Like, huh? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna get my ass kicked because I didn't shut the door? What the hell? And the way we used to get disciplined was to the point that we're now, in a sense of discipline, for me, survival tactics, I'm gonna lie about everything and And then when I figured out the lies weren't good enough, I ain't gonna show up because I would rather them worry to death about me and it would simmer down. I started figuring this shit out. Because if I'm gone and they're having to say he's a missing kid,
Right.
I'm not going to get my ass kicked. Because it comes to a time that, okay, disciplining your children is important. But I only can remember maybe 2 times I've ever had to lay my hands on my daughter. I have never had to go in there, get the belt, and go through this whole fucking ritual or call my brother up. Oh, yeah, we going to beat this chick up tonight because she, you know what I'm saying? And to me, we have been able as a black race, from parenting on down to socializing with our peers, we have been traumatized. And this is not even talking about when the oppressor gets us, right? We're talking about traumatizing our communities, traumatizing our household, and then re-traumatize inside of these confines that ain't even for us. So then where does these young African kids go, or where does a black parent go? They go back to what they know. They go back to drugs. They go back to kids that feel the same exact way, the outcasts or the lost boys or the lost girls.
And then we create a place for them called jail. They go away, and then people get to make money being parole officers. And you know, I mean, look. So Barry, let me just say this. I feel everything you're saying. I think that's been some black people's reality. I have to start using these terms like some, because some black people figured that shit out and got away from niggas that were traumatized. Because look, sometimes it gets to be too much. I think we gotta stop with the motherfucking oneness, because it doesn't exist. The only time I become one with somebody when we share an idea. But you're not gonna make me eat your nasty ass greens, because what if I don't eat fucking greens? Because we do this fake oneness. You know, usually people who have not worked in other countries damn sure don't understand it, because all we know is from our little window here in America, where none of us have been to all. I have been to all the motherfucking states in the United States. I've been to all of them. I can clearly say that. Wow, that's kind of deep. But what I'm saying is, I think sometimes we do this fake oneness, and it's like, why can't we just work with where we meet at? Why can't we just cross where we meet at? Because that's what other fucking people do. They don't say, we're going to all belong to one. Don't nobody fucking do that. I belong to a lot of organizations, and I can support motherfuckers and not join their shit. Because to me, it's strategic. Like, I don't really agree with this part of your mission, but I agree with that part. Hook me up when you're working on that part. That's great. But I think quit asking black people to carry the fucking race. I don't like that as a black woman. I don't like it when motherfuckers ask me to take on everybody. Trans women. Look, motherfucker, I'm a woman. I've been having to carry everybody's shit. I'm not the floor of the world. I don't want to fucking do certain shit. I think everybody has the right to live, but I also think leave people the fuck alone. When people tell me they don't want to do something, I'm like, all right, player, if you need me, I'm here. I don't make them do anything.
But here's the thing.
I don't make them do anything, and that's a problem. We got to stop that.
Okay, but then
shit.
In the sense of, then this conversation is irrelevant then. Because
no, it's not irrelevant. I think it's okay, Barry, to talk about. The question was, do black people like black people? Some of us do, some of us don't. And I think, for instance, we keep trying to take a whole bunch of tribes and make them one fucking group. That's not going to work. When somebody tells me that they don't like me and I got to get something from them, I send other motherfuckers in there on my behalf. Motherfucker don't like me, I'm going to send this person in here. Pimps do it all the time. What make this man move is a little bit of trim. He like, what kind of chick? Send her ass in there to get. People do this shit to us all the time. That, you know, we need to have a Negro politician. Black people screaming they want a black politician. Let's send in our nigga. They're going to get a black person. We're going to get the person to do the shit we want. We are not fucking strategists like that. You know what I mean? We know most Negroes. I don't know how we can sometimes work in systems when we know some systems are designed to keep us oppressed, but we still in our mind believe that. To me is traumatic. Fuck the traumatic bullshit we see in the street. It's traumatic when you stand before a black judge and fucking hate your black guts. That's traumatic for me. Ray Ray in the street, I don't have to really fuck with Ray Ray. Yeah. I ain't got to see Ray Ray.
Now, I mean, in real talk.
But having to fuck with niggas who hold your whole life in their hands, and you telling me because we all black, I gotta take this shit. Being black don't mean you get to be abused. That's not what the fuck it mean to be black to me. You don't get to shit on me and tell me it's raining. Yeah. Like these are just fucking brown raindrops. Bitch, you don't shit on me. I don't give a fuck if you blacker than 1,000 midnights or if you think you're a 2% black. Yeah. You don't get to shit on me. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's why we can never do the oneness, because we can't even respect each other enough to know that, hey, this person don't do this, so hey, we're not gonna fuck with her on that. We don't even show those common courtesies. But if a white person walked into the room, our whole fucking demeanor changed because we want them to be as comfortable as possible.
Man.
That's the shit you should check about yourself. Why do I always make a place for these white people? What the fuck is this really about? But we ain't willing to talk about that, Barry, because there's an accountability factor in there that we ain't willing to fucking deal with.
Yeah.
And I know that's a hard sell. People be like, "Oh,
no, I think it's real." But I believe though, in a sense of when we getting back to the fake oneness, as Stockdale said, I think we have to really find out what will be the catalyst that at least gets us to a level of saying this is what we doing. Because if we talk about black agenda and ain't no black men involved and ain't no black children involved, how can it be a black agenda?
It is a black agenda because, again, Barry, black men been doing this shit forever. Y'all always had a black agenda. Go back and look at history. You go to the Black National Convention, most of that shit was centered around black men, but black women and our supportive ass to the detriment. Well, we need the men instead. See, it just don't work like that. I like it when any black people talk about it. Work your motherfucking agenda.
Okay, then
there is no black agenda.
But
it can be many. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, but then if the end of the day, right, there is a
maybe some shit across, baby. No, maybe.
But I have to know what is your plan, though.
You'll see it if you see me marching into. If you see me marching into the battle, your ass supposed to pick your shit like, oh, she marched shit. We out here doing the same thing.
And how does it benefit? I think this is me, right? I look at as Queen MJ is saying right now, the divide and conquer tactics used on us have been so strategic.
Yeah, but they've been consistent in the shit.
I mean, this is how they level. This is how they level. Let's get into it, right?
Get into it, Barry.
We ain't got too much time, but this is it.
I'm trying to see what's going on with my person.
Shaquille O'Neal and Jay-Z. When you have a Negro problem, when they're about to revolt, you either give them some money or give them one of their Jesus Negroes, one of the people that they worship. Shaquille O'Neal goes in because he is like the face of black America because he's on all these commercials. I mean, they got this Negro plastered on. He's the new black gesture, right? Papa Murphy's got all that racial shit. Yeah. The owner calling Negroes N-words and all that. Stock going down. What you do to clean up the problem? You bring in a full-fledged, noticeable, fun-loving, admirable, happy-go-lucky Negro, right?
Yeah.
You give us all your esteemed Shaquille O'Neal. And Shaquille O'Neal, he proclaims that he is going to put Papa Murphy in every black historical college. Instead of saying, I got startup money for any black startup pizza company, and I want to be able to invest with Papa Murphy funds a pizzeria for black folks in every historical black college. Not Papa Murphy's, but a black-owned pizzeria, because I know niggles make a lot of pizza. Trust me when we know. We from Philly and New York. Niggles is making pizzas. Niggles is eating pizza. Right. Or Jay-Z, another Shaquille O'Neal kind of Negro, right? The gesture. We got a problem with the NFL. We're going to bring Jay-Z and we're going to link up with him and we're going to do Inspired for Change. And my idea of Inspired for Change will be the first problem. We need Colin Kaepernick in. Why? Because if Colin Kaepernick is in, niggles will solely believe the NFL is changing their ways. Colin Kaepernick on week 7 ain't got a job yet, right? So my idea of what you said, as I agree on so many different terms, then we can't argue or get mad when they pull out the Negro to calm us down to make us feel what we have arrived. Papa Murphy will now be in historical black colleges. Jay-Z is now going to do Inspired for Change clothes all through that we're going to have to probably spend $50 on a shirt with. But guess what? We're closing the gap.
And the root of your problem with this synopsis is you're talking about people who look black, who are not really fucking black. I don't know what else to say. They're not. We make the assumption because Shaquille O'Neal is a big black buck that this fool is for black people. I mean, shit, he married a colorist, y'all. Come on, he was married to one. So what I'm saying is, same thing with Jay-Z. I listen to mixed bitches, but misfits and all that bullshit. This nigga was really never for us. The nigga got rich by moving weight that killed his off his community and then came back for the finish and kicked all the people out and built a fucking arena or whatever. So my thing is, we be using people. See, I think it's different. If he had been down with a movement and that nigga turned on us, that would be different. But we knew this fool wasn't trying to, he was trying to get his money the way he get his money. He really probably think, okay, I'm the white man's Negro. My job is to make it smooth. Fuck we mad for? We just not his nigga. So I don't be looking for people who I know is kind of like my arch enemy. Just because he looks like me don't mean he my motherfucking friend. Sometimes your enemies look like you. We have a whole bunch of black frenemies and black fake people who are down with the movement with their hair nappy. Now we think these motherfuckers is back to Africa. No, this nigga ain't combed his hair. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? I think we gotta stop with this, like, you know, we use all of these examples with people who we think got our back. These motherfuckers never had our back. What's the problem with that? Now, there's difference. I think as I said again, I think it's different when you pull resources with people who you believe that y'all share some of the same shit. That's different. But I don't be trying to ask Oprah to do shit. I don't even fucking know Oprah. I don't be trying to ask Bob Johnson. This nigga like I saw BET 25 years ago. I'm not even fucking with black people entertainment like that no more. Like, y'all too damn hard to manage. I think we gotta figure out ways of holding people accountable who we are in agreement with. You can't ask Negroes to be in agreement that we ain't even in agreement with. It's like, nigga, I don't know you. That's like you said, oh, Barry, you black man. Barry, like, bitch, I'm not black, I'm Portuguese. What the fuck?
Yeah, and
that's kind of like what we're doing.
And I think that's why it goes back to the love. Because in the idea of
they give our shit away. That's right, Javon. I'm sorry.
Javon,
yeah.
she totally
right
on that.
They give our shit away, but we let them give it away.
But then where do we find accountability in anything then? That's why I'm saying.
How do other groups do it, Barry?
Oh, shit, you know.
How do other groups do the shit? No, bro, you know, shit on people. Hey, Bumpy Johnson did it.
Yeah, I mean... And Bobby Johnson,
and then in the drug wars, motherfuckers did it all over the drug wars.
And Bobby Johnson also helped fund some of the stuff that MLK was doing, but cats won't know about that. But here's, I think that, and that goes into the point of the fact that, again, the question is, do black people love black people?
So y'all hear that? Do black people love black people? Just chime in real quick, Javon. Yes, no, or whatever your piece is.
Do black people love black people?
Do black people love black people? That's what Barry asked at the beginning.
Do black people love black people? Because all of these things that we've saying, the accountability, you're saying, okay, well, how do you expect Negroes who don't even really recognize that they're black in a way, what do we expect from them? It's just, to me, is like, do black people love black people? And it becomes, to me, that we really don't, because if we did, there wouldn't be these kind of things that we have to celebrate. Oh, you're bringing Papa Murphy's to Black Historical College instead of black businesses? Okay, you're going to go ahead and run with the NFL? Okay, you're going to go hug this goddamn white woman that just killed this innocent black man? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, we're going to continue to celebrate ignorance? Okay, we're going to have 1,000 churches and praying to this white Jesus and never give back into the community. And if we give back in the community, it's almost kind of stretched like everybody else. It's on a Thanksgiving, it's on a Christmas. I mean, do black people honestly love black people? I love black people, but I can only speak for me.
I love black people, but I can't stand Negroes. Okay. Like, it's got to be a little bit more than that. Like, I just feel like we just got to be very honest about who we are dealing with. That's all I'm saying.
And I think that...
But I think we just assume that all your skin folks is your kin folks.
So then we cannot be commercialized by the Negroes that they give us then, right? Because my thing and my theory on all this shit, I don't even know why we still have these problems. Because when I looked at 92, we were more surfaced on a reality like it's all for one for all. And then turn around in 2019 is one man, the last man standing.
Oh, shit, Javon.
The last man standing. Javon wants to...
No, but she basically said, some black people love black people, others love servitude. Now, you know what? Some of us, now that makes sense to me. Because while you would get off a bench and hug somebody who just killed somebody black means, I'm serving you well, master. We're going to make sure you do about 2 years and get your hair right for this picture. You know, so that Javon said you be on some, and I think it's different when you speak from experience, when you watch white people come in and do shit. And you be like, bitch, wasn't you standing the fuck there?
Yeah. Well,
like, you just gonna let these motherfuckers walk up in here? But you know,
And here's the thing about it, and in Stockdale, I love that you say we're really educating, and we appreciate us
Right
both.
on.
We appreciate that, but that's another problem.
Uh-oh.
I'm just saying that's
Yeah,
another
we good,
problem.
'cause my tin is not
Yeah,
there.
no.
Go ahead, we good.
Oh, we good?
Yeah, we good. Keep
Okay,
going.
well,
Yeah, I was clearing it because I was like, well, you
okay,
didn't
you
say
know what?
anything.
We thought we was gonna be shut down a little bit early, but we're gonna have some fun now.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, go ahead.
let's get into it. Why in the hell are all these people not sharing real education right now? Because again, why they gave you Shaquille, why they gave you Jay-Z, is because now they have capitalized on the star power of the Negro. So the Negro, once upon a time, who we saw as our stars and our general, were leaders like Malcolm, right? Were leaders in the church when they was doing shit. And the church used to be a lot different compared to what the church is right now. The church used to be community. There's only a few churches that I know around here, I'm just saying here in Sacramento, that are a community before their church. Their community is the church. You get what I'm talking about?
Right.
And are outside of it. Again, like I said, shout out to my brother, Pastor Les Simmons. That brother, to me, we have not had one religious conversation. There's been that one time he said, well, you should come to the church, or blah, blah, blah. It's been, I'm with my brother, I stand with my brother, and we're going to do this work together. It ain't got nothing to do with church. If anything, church politics is outside of anything that we do, right? And I don't see that often. It's always, I've broken up, and girls have broken up with me because I didn't know too many more Bible verses than them did. You know what I'm saying? Good stand-up, brother, but I didn't know Psalms, Palms, and Hebrews, and whatever, Proverbs. You know what I mean? I didn't know what
You say
dictation.
Psalm and Palms?
I'm just saying.
I think I used to say Palms.
Genesis, genocide. Well, I didn't know. Right? I'm like, shit, you breaking up with me? I didn't get my Bible verse right? Right?
Oh, shit.
But everything else good about me, but my Bible verses ain't right. So the reality, I'm just saying, the reality of what we literally look at overall is with black people. It's like, why aren't you supporting this black podcast? Ooh, what do we have to be David Banner? And I love my brother because we brought him out here. Do we have to be T.I.? You know what I'm talking about? Because now we're listening to a bunch of rich Negroes who don't really have the Negro problems, but have figured out a way how to capitalize on the Negro sorrow and the Negro oppression. And the reality to me is if me as being an elder statement for my young kids, I got more money than them, right? So guess what I have to do? I got to find a lane for them to get money. I can't just be standing there talking to them about money and them little Negroes is looking at me like, God damn, can you show me the way, black man? My thing is, why aren't more black power players coming together, brokering their money, and going on these world tours around America and establishing
Al Sharpton does that.
Shut the girl. Let me off this goddamn thing. Shit me.
They have the poor people's campaign. They gonna go around and look at all the poor people and talk about poverty like
I'm just saying though, Queen, you laughing, but I'm being dead ass serious though. And then that becomes a thing, like.
Oh shit.
And I appreciate those who've all tuned in, for all the folks that continue to tune in.
Yeah.
Because the only way we get into a real power is if folks on the ground level start supporting other unapologetic platforms that ain't speaking that same rhetoric. Niggas like us are not talking that same rhetoric that them niggas is talking. We gonna get there and say, nigga, put your money where your mouth is. Because there's a lot of people on all these platforms that all these niggas do is preach. And it's like, well, where's your work at? Where's the work you're doing? Show us.
Some of us don't give a fuck about your work, Barry. We want to be entertained. We want you to make us feel good. We want you to fucking lie to us.
Yes.
Tell us that we're doing good even though we ain't doing good. Tell us that my eyebrows matter. Shit. Tell me you like the way I wear my makeup and how I have horsehair on. Tell me some shit like that. Just fucking lie to me. Some of us live in that reality, Barry.
So then we're blessed to say that we love the lie more than we love the truth.
Yes. We want you to comfort us with a lie because the truth hurts. And I don't feel like feeling no pain right now. That's why I gotta roll up this fucking joint and deal with my fake glaucoma.
And that's why I have to go drink the alcohol.
Right.
Because I mean, think about it though. But think about it. Every like vice, every vice that we've succumbed ourselves to kind of normalize what's going on has been things that if we really love our ancestors slaved to make I don't want to say to make great, but slaved to become a staple in our community. Drugs, alcohol, like I say, cigarettes, the cotton, I mean, all these different things, right? Like I just said, the dollar. We slave for a dollar these people on the dollar that enslaved us. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fixated with any of these things. There was once upon a time I was getting high, I was drinking just like anybody else. But I said when I started coming into my consciousness, and not saying that I'm just a conscious brother, my consciousness, I'm like, why the hell am I drinking this goddamn poison? First, right? Secondly, why am I sitting there even tapping in to these narcotics that at one time when I was doing it was illegal? And then when you flip and see now the legalization, they haven't come and welcomed the brothers. They haven't said, you Negroes have opened our eyes. Because, I mean, let's be real. Black people opened up the eyes of the government. Be like, hey, y'all know this was some bullshit that we said anyway. This motherfucker was lying about this marijuana is going to make white women go ahead and have sex with black men. They're like, yeah,
they do that shit anyway.
They're like, well, hey, come on, man. Let's keep it going. And, these niggas are kind of creative on how they're selling shit.
No,
let's legalize it.
I think they want to take the black market out of it.
And no, let me finish something. Let me say one thing. And let's legalize it, because if we legalize it, we can still be able to lock these niggas up, because we're going to put so many parameters that these niggas can't do it legit anyway. Get what I'm talking about? And that's what they've done. They've literally got us locked out. I have watched industries be created by us, and then us have nothing to do with it, and they're doing that to hip-hop. At a particular time, these motherfuckers are going to make us believe that white boy Eminem is the greatest rapper of all time. And they have done that. And niggas will parade around. Is he a good, decent rapper? Yeah. But that motherfucker will never make my top 10, and he will never be better than Tupac. He will never be bigger than Biggie Smalls, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane. You get what I'm talking about? You're never going to get to that. The key part
is that we gave the shit away. That's the part we forget to leave out. We gave the shit away.
And that's what I'm
just going to be honest.
And so when I say by us giving it away, it goes back to my first part of what we've been talking about that I think lines it all up. Do we love each other? Because if we love each other and the content, we gave away $1 trillion industry. Everything, if you go on a commercial right now, you cannot tell me it's not influenced by hip hop.
And you know this shit is deep. When they got the selling weed in Sacramento, like legally, this motherfucker go back to the Ukraine. This shit is tied to it.
That's crazy.
So even people from Russia came to get their money off of us, y'all. We valuable as fuck.
Very.
That they came and get money off of us.
We're valuable as for them, but we don't see no value in each other. And that's why I'm saying, because how the hell do you got some Ukrainians? Well, I know how it happened, because everybody's all tied in.
Wow, Javon said the whole pharmaceutical industry, they are experimenting on us with these narcotics. Now that I believe. So I remember a film called Three the Hard Way. I grew up watching a lot of 70 movies. And Three the Hard Way was Jim Kelly, what's the football player?
Jim Brown.
Name? Jim Brown, Fred Williamson, and I'm missing somebody. I can't remember the third motherfucker. But anyway, the Karate Dude. But anyway.
Wasn't it Fred Williamson? No.
Fred Williamson.
No, the Karate Dude. I forget
Jim
the
Kelly.
Jim Kelly. It was Jim Kelly, because remember. Jim Brown, Fred Williamson,
Jim Kelly. So they had, the plot of this film, y'all, this is in the 70s. I think it's like in the early or mid-70s. Was they were going to poison all of the major cities' water supplies where there were black people. And their job was 3 cities, 3 the hard way. They had to go stop these white supremacists from poisoning the water. I said to my goddamn self, this was a film from 1973.
And then what do we have? Flint, Michigan. And over here, Detroit. What's Detroit right now? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I agree. So because we don't research, and we don't study shit because we think we know every goddamn thing. We think only thing that matters is what's happening right now. The biggest trick that they continue to do is every year. I always laugh when I hear black people say this. This generation is the generation. Every motherfucking person said it on every generation. We can go to 1929. It be old people. These generation today ain't going to take it from this white man. We can go to 1959. These young people today, they ain't taking it from the white man. We go to 1972, nigga. They're not taking them right now. These kids ain't going to do nothing but the same shit the last other generations did. This motherfucker know you was coming. He know your vices. He know what you like to do. He know what makes you happy. He know what makes you sleepy. He know what makes you. He know every goddamn thing. This motherfucker probably controlling the motherfucking weather. But instead of us being proactive, because our ancestors didn't leave instructions if your ass want to read, shit, get an audio book or some shit.
Yeah.
You can beat these people. I always look at it like this, Barry. I refuse to believe that our ancestors survived the worst enslavement of a people on record for us to be up here to be enslaved in some motherfucking shit you roll up in some paper. Now that's goddamn bull. I refuse to believe that they survived all of the harshness of the enslavement. Of the enslavement, of having to take bullshit off people just to be enslaved to some motherfucking corny ass hip hop. Are you fucking shit hop? Are you fucking kidding me? That we enslaved to stupid shit like lashes and hair weave and wanting to feel good and food and just bullshit. You mean this motherfucker was like, wait a minute, we did all this to break these people in slavery and it didn't work. All I have to do is get these niggas some weed.
Yeah, and that becomes the thing. Again, we go back to the love. And you say, and that's why, and you've heard me argue the point. Don't tell me about let the young generation lead. For what?
No, shut your mouth up, Barry.
What are we gonna let them lead? They don't even have the capability to even to wipe their asses properly. What are we gonna let them be? Or brush their teeth? I get the energy, but that's why it becomes a difficult problem with us. We don't understand why we all, as our elders, and we're not elders in that sense.
I get what you're saying, 'cause I be like,
we have to be able to say with the young people, let's stand together and let's work this out. You can't just let them little niggas just go out, but when these people are, let the young people lead, okay, nigga, go. So then that means you can go ahead and pay for your own rent. That means you can go ahead. So how do they lead? I'm just saying, because it be the middle ground.
They don't even have no fucking tools, though.
I remember one time one Negro just sat there and said that, like the young Negro talk. Okay, brother, we gonna get to him, but we got some things that we have to discuss.
With the ground rules, like we don't have no fucking ground rules, Barry.
Because every time, the reason why we get off from what 92 was, the last time when we were really heroic, is because we do not pay attention. If my daughter, because she now is the young person and I'm going to let her lead, said, I don't need dad no more, Negro, that chick would probably be somewhere in Las Vegas. Because culturally, what looks good to her, culturally, what's being promoted to her culturally
right on,
is loving hip hop, Megan Thee Stallion, and Nicki Minaj, and I'm not knocking them. Because I believe...
Well, they gave Lil Kim a BET award. Are you fucking kidding me?
I love the emergence of black women in hip-hop, because you know what I do? I say that the niggas could do it, y'all should be able to do it too.
If they can shit off the roof, we can shit off the roof.
So I love that.
Standard is that?
Like, I love that.
But
in the same sense, there has to be actual growth. And the reason why, and one of my best friends from high school were talking about it. He said to me, there is a reason why they have allowed, because they really did allow it, because once before the time, they didn't even want no hip-hop in anything. Hip-hop was outlawed. And that's why in 92, I was hearing these people, black people even saying...
They felt like it can make money.
Exactly. Black people were even saying, I really like this hip-hop, because we as black folks didn't even embrace it the way we have now. Yeah. Right? Because it was still R&B, soul, other stuff.
Every generation does that, though.
Exactly. For everything.
Music.
It's like rock and roll, all that.
Jazz music, all that shit.
Now, he was like, you know what? Like, think about it. Being a rapper is not a good, career path. And I said, well, why do you think that? He said, well, what job skills do they have? He's all, do they learn about credit? He's breaking down all these things that when you're a hip-hop artist, you assume they know.
Somebody's taking care of you.
But them Negroes don't know nothing. Because what they're promoting, drinking, smoking, fucking, all this other destructive kind of behavior. Not saying all hip-hop, because I don't want y'all to go, no, Kendrick Lamar. I don't want to hear that. I'm talking about overall messages, right? And it be the Snoop Dogg's, the T.I.'s, and some of these Drakes.
But they older, though.
Some of these, even some of the younger artists, Drake would still be considered a younger artist. J. Cole's, that kind of learn the method of how much power they have and flip it to where those guys, if they stop hip hop, they would never be broke. But let's look at the rappers, and I'm gonna look at in the Bay Area, the rappers that we grew up with in the Bay Area, like rappers like San Quinn, rappers like JT the Bigger Figure, rappers like Messy Marv, that never got that national acclaim, was close but never got that. Messy Marv is somewhere in some kind of homeless shelter, or JT is off heroin. I mean, you know, these rappers, they don't really embody what you believe a rap artist who's getting all this money. And mind you, when some of these artists are at their hype, niggas is getting 10,000 a show. 10,000 a show. We're not even talking about record sales. And with a lot of the other artists who don't make it major, they're independent, which means if they're independent artists, all of that money they have to manage. But a lot of those artists, while they are okay, have your kid become a hip hop artist, because you're either going to screw yourself or the record label is going to screw you.
Well, hold on. Some comments real quick. Dr. Stockdale said, man, they be trying to fight you for their weed, talking about young people.
Yeah.
And the other brother said the generation, I think this is a woman. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. I'm sorry, brother. Is it Taquir? I don't want to mess his name up. This generation can't even pull his pants up. You never lied. But talk about how deep the moon is. Okay. Javon said, but they try to be more nigga than the niggas, and a stallion is an uncastrated adult male horse. I'm so confused.
You funny, Queen.
That, you know, but we don't even understand, even in the names and shit, we be naming shit, that it has another meaning on it.
Yeah.
But because we don't study, we don't even fucking understand that. Javon said, I hate to see women in the light trying to be savage. That's what I was saying.
And this is
what I say. It's not we talking about Lauryn Hill. We talking about her.
Well, that was too much. That was too much positive. There was too much positive, and they destroyed her anyway. But here's the thing about it, Queen. And I trust me, I hate it that it has to be that way. But after a while, when the Negroes are being what the Negroes are being, and they have not leveled up, because that becomes about us leveling up and saying, hey, because once upon a time, it was some good harmony in our music. It was standards. Again, I could listen to Too Short and be on my BS, and then turn around and listen to Troop, turn around, listen to New Edition, turn around, listen to Keith Sweat, and get back on Jodeci. Y'all who know me know I love Jodeci, and get back on my love, right? Now, it's like, what is a woman to do? Niggas ain't singing romance. Even if Chris Brown is singing a song, he's saying these hoes ain't loyal. You know what I'm saying? He's singing a song that used to be for Too Short. That's supposed to be Too Short's anthem, not Chris Brown. You an R&B singer. You supposed to bring me back. So, I guess when you are living in a savage lifestyle, you have to become savage. And it's unfortunate, but this is the kind of proximity that they're teaching us, and that's why I say, do we love each other? Because when we love, we're going to try to control the narrative as much as possible. When we love, we are going to try to direct, not misguide individuals. When we love, we'll give them the opportunity to grow just like us. I say it, and I will say it again. The greatest relationships I have is my daughter's mom and with my daughter. Though I have great relationships with other people, I say that because as a young man, I didn't know what the hell I was doing with this woman, and she didn't know what the hell she was doing with me. We had this beautiful baby, and I did not waver, no matter how many waves, how many roller coasters we all went through. She's a part of my business functionality. You know what I'm saying? She's a part of me figuring out, well, how can I get my daughter's mom some money? Okay, you're going to be my tax person because she does taxes. You know what I'm talking about? You're going to do all my accounting because I ain't got no time to do none of that stuff. Here's my accounting. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Because my daughter is at her house, right? That going to do what? Helps her take care of my daughter. This ain't got to be on some, oh, I feel bad because I was missing for 3 years, because I've been there all the time. You get what I'm talking about? Right. And even the things that have happened between us, I don't hold a grudge. You know, I know sometimes she's on bullshit, but I don't hold a grudge, right? And then with my daughter, it is my civil duty to direct and guide her in her higher moments and in her worst moments. In the moments where she feels like, damn, giving up, to be able to push her. And for me as a man, the greatest attribute that I have is I'm a creator. So things that my daughter does is she's here helping create with me. We sitting here talking about business plans about opening up my restaurant or my food truck. Do you know how powerful that is to talk about legacy with your child? Like, me and my daughter are talking about legacy building. We're not talking about, oh, yeah, well, you know, I don't know about this motherfucking job. They're going to have to dress you. I don't know about this job. They're going to, you know, fire me probably next week. And you know what I'm talking about? We're talking about legacy building. We're talking about when she moves to L.A., that, shoot, open it up over here, or maybe even going out there to open it there. And I said, you know what, Deja, it'd be a great time to open it up there, but we've already built. Remember what I said. We already built what's going on right there. And I think when we talk about foundations and when we talk about love, the first residence of understanding love is what you do as a parent. If you have that ability to be a parent, and I think some folks who are not actual parents to a biological child, you've been a parent in some kind of way. What you show love to those people that you say you love. I can't sit there and direct and say I love you and my actions look totally different. And I believe that's what's the wrong issue. Black people's love looks totally different, and I understand that. But these actions that we're showing cannot be something that I say is love for us. We're talking about every problem that is detrimental to our come up and our upbringing, and it continues to be the source of why the oppressor continues to win. None of us are even paying attention to what's going on in the Oval Office because we probably don't really even care. You get what I'm talking about? Right. We're more worried about the cipher. I'm still to this day trying to figure out what the fuck did we even understand. Why did we go crazy off a chicken sandwich? I'm still to this day trying to figure that shit out.
Yeah.
And my daughter gave me game. She's like, Dad, you know Burger King owns Popeyes? I said, Negro, you lying. She's like, yeah, Burger King owns Popeye. You know what I'm talking about? So we have to start bringing down and defining what this true love looks like in black people. And if we are really prepared to love each other. That's me.
Right on. Well, Barry, we wrapping up. Shit. I think that was a loaded question. I think we got a lot of responses to it. I think that's something we may have to look at. Like, how do we begin to repair if we can repair? I'm just going to be honest. Because some of us are in the phase of our life was like, I done did repair for like 30 years.
Man. Now
I have to go into this next phase and make sure I leave some shit with some tools in it for people to be able to do something with it. How do we leave institutions? How do we, that has the basis of it, black equity, black love, black whatever, and the root of it. I just think sometimes we have people who we say we love that are black, but we don't show up like that. That's all I'm saying. So, with that, Barry, what's your wrapper? What's your final word?
My final word is November 29th, November 30th. Y'all don't know, now you should know Black Friday weekend is going down. Shouts out to the team on the Black Friday Coalition. We're having it here again, 2251 Florin Road. 2251 Florin Road. Make sure you folks tap in and spend black, support black, as well as make sure, if you don't know, blackblueprintswithaz.com, our Facebook and our Instagram, as well as our website, where you can find some black apparel like this, and get it for the holidays so we can continue to resonate our blackness on the world and continue to fight the forces of the oppressor, as well as those people in our own community that oppress us.
Damn, Barry. And all I'm saying is that next week on the 29th, we have our orientation for the Nurture, Grow, Empower Women Mentorship Program, the orientation for volunteers. If you want to volunteer, that too will be here at the building, 2251 Florin Road, Suite 50. And looking forward to seeing you in the house. We're looking for 100 black women to mentor 100 black girls throughout Sacramento and the surrounding areas. Peace, y'all have a good day.
Wait. Make sure you black people go to Hidden Gems Thrift Store, black-owned thrift store, 2245 Suite 12, Hidden Gems Thrift Store, black-owned thrift store. Come thrift with us.